The water palm in palmistry is someone with a long palm and long fingers, and the way you determine that is by looking at the length of their palm and the length of their longest finger, almost always the Saturn finger. Now, if the Saturn finger is 7/8 of the palm's length or longer, you know you have long fingers. If the palm itself is on the long side, that is to say, clearly a rectangular palm, that's a terrible example, but you get my meaning, then you have a long palm and long fingers. This is certainly a water hand, although there is somewhat of a squarish element to the palm. Water hands are people who are sensitive, creative, emotional, intelligent, dreamers. They tend to worry quite a lot. They can be quite anxious, indecisive, but they have high imagination, high creativity. And because of these, they are very in touch with their emotions and other people's. They're in touch with their dreams, their unconscious side. They make good writers, creatives, musicians, artists. They also tend to fall on the more sort of psychic side of things, and this is because, as I say, they're more in touch with their unconscious side and being sensitive. They are slightly more in tune and aware. They can read the room on a very unconscious level, so they kind of can have at times an ability to sort of tap into these psychic extra sort of senses, if you like. However, they are prone to depression and are more likely to suicidal tendencies. Water hands tend to as well have problems, physically speaking, with the spine as well. That's quite common. Lung, throat, autoimmune diseases as well. But it is very common, I see, with water hands to have bad backs, and this is often seen in the fate line, and you'll see it quite often when the fate line is quite sort of jarred. You'll see a clear sort of break there. That's not a break, but you know what I mean. It's the fate line itself is not free flowing. It's not, the path isn't quite set out, and the fate line or the career line often acts as a sort of a measure of spinal health. And the way to truly determine what the fate line is trying to say is to have a look at other elements in the palm related to health. So the heart line is an obvious one, the lifeline as well, and the headline for mental health. There are other indications more than just the chirology aspect. So the chirognomy will tell you as well. The texture, the color of the hand, and certain features will also indicate as well. You might see sort of redness or blotching, or the skin ridge patterns as well might provide some indication as to certain predispositions in health, and that's another side of palmistry known as dermatoglyphics. In any case, this person sent me a question about their palm. What does this say? Can you read my palm? Please tell me about my future marriage, age, and marriage abroad, settlement, chance, wealth. I'm very worried. My life is full of tensions and problems. Please give me some help from my read my palm. You are my last hope. See, as I say, water palm, a natural warrior, and anxious. People who are anxious live in the future. They're quite naturally fearful, and anxious people tend to be very imaginative and creative. Now, I'm not trying to minimize this person's worries. So when we look at the fate line here, this is the first thing I'm picking up on here. Genuinely, I've not done any research on this person's palm at all. We've got here quite a weak fate line. So all the major lines here look quite strong, the lifeline, the head, the heart line, but the fate line itself appears quite sort of weak, and that shows that a person is perhaps not earning as much money as they should for the effort that they're putting into their role. Their career is not reaping them enough rewards. The lifeline is strong. There is a hiccup here from roughly the age of 16 to 24, and hiccup is probably a huge understatement. The lifeline is tied to the headline, or the headline rather is tied to the lifeline for quite some time, up until that age of 24, when this period of great stress turmoil. This was an impactful and awful event where anger is tied to this. We see a line here coming from this place of drive and aggression and motivation. The will, the desire to change this situation was strong, and it did happen for this person. But as a result, I mean, maybe this is just this person's character anyway. They're quite overcautious, and they might miss opportunities. And on that note, just looking at the path of the lifeline here, I don't know if you can notice this as well. It's tightly wrapped around the ball of the thumb here. It's almost as if this person is fearful of stepping outside of their comfort zones. And as a result, these experiences that we require to grow and broaden our horizons, to expand our experiences and skills, is limited, stunted here. And this is perhaps potentially has had an effect on a person's ability to seize opportunities, to find worthy and lucrative work roles. On the left hand as well, you can see this lifeline is tightly wrapping around this thumb. It shows this person never really wants to stray too far from home, enjoys the comforts of their home, and family is very important to this person. On the note of family, I see 2 islands here on the family ring, at least 2 children I believe this person has. So these family home commitments might also prevent this person from being able actually to step outside of the familiar, the home environment, to seize these work opportunities. And just looking overall at the lines here, and this is not the clearest image, but we don't see a many-lined hand particularly, which is commonly associated with nervousness, over-worry, anxiety. So actually, this does, for me, mean that the worries this person is having are genuinely causing them some distress here. I don't know how old this person is, but you can see the headline, it veers towards a place of planning and preparing for the future, making money, and then it kind of turns downwards a little. And this is perhaps a sign of looking into a deeper, darker place of less sort of realistic thoughts and ideas, this place of lunar. And often it's associated with creative endeavors as well. When we change our career path, we require drawing our ideas from a different place in our mind. So this could be that reason. And when we look at this career line here, or fate line, we see that there is a potential sort of career change here that's quite drastic. And it looks as though, that coincides with what I was just saying, that this is a career path that's sort of stemming from lunar. So from what I'm seeing here, it looks as though made an improvement, a vast improvement to their life at the age of around about 41, and this coincides with this career change here. That's it was a career shift. They weren't out of work at any one point. I don't think they can afford to be, and their shift in way of thinking has changed due to this need to think differently. And the career itself hasn't made them as much money as they'd like to have, or, as I said, I don't know where this person is in their life at the moment. However, the good news is this career change, this shift here, represented by this fate line or career line, it has this kind of an emotional investment, support from a partner. This partner is supporting this person's success, their Apollo line, their Sun line, the success line, which is forming up here on the Apollo Mount, has this kind of fork here, this triangular formation from the heart line, and it shows that they are being supported by their spouse, or at least a very close relationship. And so all of this together creates this sort of neat convergence of lines here, creating this square from this age of 41 right up to the age of around about 60. And so although this person might be feeling as though they are sort of struggling, or that they're not making as much money as they should be, perhaps they're not, but all is well. This square is one of the most protective signs in palmistry, and it's very, very helpful. It's there when we need it. It shows us that things are protected, so to speak, at this time. So not to worry, things will work out for this person. And when we look at this image a little bit closer, we can see a couple of things here. The Mercury finger is a little bit low set. That's likely due to the trauma this person went through when they were younger, and it's affected their emotional framework to some degree. So it's inhibited their ability to express their emotions, articulate their feelings. However, this is a long Mercury finger. Thankfully, when we look at the overall length of this finger, it is long. It well and truly reaches the first phalanx of Apollo, and if actually this Mercury had been level with Apollo, we'd see a vastly long Mercury finger, this ability to learn and pick up on the feelings of others, to communicate. Really, it is there to express themselves. It's strong. The tip of Mercury is strong. There's a high amount of intuition here, and although we don't see a clearly marked Mercury line, you can actually make out there's a clear there's a clearly kind of marked boundary of lunar here. You can see that lunar is well developed. There's a different color to it, and so I feel this person is highly intuitive, and I really want this person to play to their strengths. So obviously this is someone who's very sensitive, and sensitivity is a double-edged sword, but when used in the right role, it can be an extremely powerful tool. And this person's middle fingers are wound very tightly close together, and it shows that they feel that they're stuck in a rut, both environmentally and emotionally at this time, because I've seen this on both the left and the right hands. Apollo and Saturn lean very tightly in close together at the tips there, and this is another indication as to how this person is feeling at their most at their highest level. On a very sort of spiritual level, they feel very stuck as well, and that their obligations they're very bound to. And again, this is a duty line, sometimes known as, or a loyalty line. They feel honor bound by more than just familial obligations at home. There's their duty towards their family actually is a bit too restrictive, and they're doing it to themselves. I feel that this person needs to allow themselves more time to themselves, and to stop feeling guilty about having that essential alone time and giving to themselves. This is vital, and it allows us to grow, allows us to breathe as people. We can't grow as people if we're not breathing out. If all we do is breathe in, we're going to explode. And so really, for this person to seize rather opportunities, they need to broaden their social horizons to make friends. It's who you know, always who you know, in order to seize those opportunities. We won't find them unless we reach out, allow others to know what we're good at and why we're good at them, and only then will opportunities come. And so for this person, I do feel that with the exception of career, to take risks, put themselves outside of their comfort zone, to just jump a little bit more, and to try new things, gain those experiences. In terms of marriage here, I see actually a very strong union, and sometimes all we have are those that are closest to us, and this person certainly relies on their partner, and I believe their partner relies on them back as well in different ways. So that's extremely important, and I think this is one of the strong constants in this person's life. I've got no issues, no concerns here around this person's marriage. I think this is a very strong union, and I think they've had 2 children with this person. But it's extremely important for this person to broaden their social network, to rely on not just their partner, but others as well. A move will occur for this person, but I don't believe it'll happen until the age of around about 62, and I don't think it will be abroad, or at least overseas settlement. And I think they'll always be yearning for home as well. This is a very sensual, feeling, sensitive, intuitive hand, And I think there are many strengths and skills this person has yet to realize about themselves and play to those strengths. This is certainly someone who is, I wouldn't say a natural born creative as such, but they're very much in touch with their unconscious side on a level I'm not sure they're actually truly aware of. And I think they're quite a numbers person, quite analytical. This is certainly an analytical, a deep thinker. This is someone who thinks quite a lot about things. But sometimes that's not to say that they're not able to act quickly in the moment. These conic fingers here show this is someone who is able to respond quickly when they need to. But I do think there is a tendency to be a little bit overcautious and to miss those opportunities. Health-wise, I think there is a possibility this person will be burning themselves out if they're not careful. They're working a bit too hard. Obviously, they need to. But there's a bit of a worry here around adrenal burnout, glandular burnout. And their cholesterol is a bit too high, and there are some metals in the blood, and I think this is due to diet and drinking water. So that's about all I'm going to say here. I hope this was helpful for this person. I want to reassure this person that things will work out. And this area here where this sun line is growing will strengthen, especially from the age of 53 and onwards. Particularly in their 60s, they will see prosperity, peace and happiness. But a lot of the time this comes from within. So allow yourself some comforts at home, some time off, and I'm sure that a family will understand, because who supports the support? And if we can't give to ourselves, sometimes no one else will. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.